Right now in the Hyundai Texans radio studio, it's Coach Lovie Smith joining us. Coach, always a pleasure to see you. I know we wanted better results in the game against Washington. Let's start here, though. The inability to run the ball as well as you have been. You've been getting good ground production most of the season. Against Washington, it just wasn't happening. What went into that?
Yeah, and that is the case, too, Mark. I mean, we want to run the football. First, we're a running team. We acknowledge that. And when you can't run it from start to finish, it just makes it that much more difficult. And there's a reason why. It always starts up front. Mm-hmm. We played an outstanding defensive line. We knew that going in, and just never able to get any push from start to finish, especially in the interior. I thought we held up for the most part at the tackle position, but from guard to guard, we had trouble.
Coach, the other side of the ball, run defense-wise, it felt like you were doing a better job setting the edge, filling gaps, tackling. How did you, when you went back and look at the film, how did you look at the run defense performance against Washington?
I think that's what the stats said that too. We played, they got some yards there at the end, but I thought we were, better defensively in just about all areas. Yards per carry versus the run, third down conversion, red zone, how we played it. Guys played hard, kept it under control, and explosive. It's always about keeping the explosives down, not letting them, making them earn it the hard way. I think we did all those things better.
But Coach, I asked this of a few other coaches and Nick as well. After the game, when Omar or Everett brings you the game book and you have the stats, and I know what they say about stats, and sometimes they don't tell the whole story. But is there something in particular that you look at first? That's the first thing that you go to, the number that you want to see that tells you the most about how the game went or how you thought it went? Is there something you look at in particular right away?
Yeah, there's a few things. First off, we're talking about the run.
Yeah.
How do we run? What's our yards per carry on the offensive side? Defensively, opponent's yards per carry.
Yeah.
How was that? Yesterday, of course, ours was down on the offensive side. Pretty good on the defensive side. Third down conversions I look at. That's what keeps drives going.
Yep.
Time of possession, all of those things. And, of course, score.
Yep. Yeah. The important one.
the important one. And, I say that is that, offensively we got to score more points. It's kind of simple as that. And I know defensively, one of the things we really harp on is we have a chance if we can keep that score down. It's one thing about yardage, but keeping that score down.
Yep.
Well, you were good on third down conversions defensively yesterday, getting off the field a bunch. And early on, Petrie had the chance at a pick, didn't get it. What do you say to him after something like that? Because, okay, you got off the field anyway, so no harm done, and maybe he wouldn't have got a return out of it, but it would have been nice to see him get that for his and everybody's confidence, right?
No, what we say is that's a missed opportunity. That's what it is. And the one area that is still disappointing to us is we've taken the ball away as well as any team for a long period of time, and they just haven't come this year. But Jalen would be the first guy. When the ball is thrown and, it hits you in the hand, we got to be able to catch those. Those are some easier. Some things are hard to do. That should be one of the easier things we should get done.
Coach, we get ready to go take out Miami. I think they're pretty good offensively, which you already know. Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, Houston boy. And then Tua Tagovailoa. I don't know how much you've gone into Miami just yet, but Tua at quarterback, last year he was almost run out of town. This year he's an MVP candidate. It flipped almost in 1 year. What have you seen from Tua, or what do you know about Tua going into this game against the Dolphins?
Well, I know just talking about the quarterback position in general. We all would like for them to be Roger Staubach right away, but, most aren't. You have to give them a little bit of time. And if they have talent, it'll normally come to the top, and that's what we've seen from Tua. Great player in college. I think, matter of fact, when we played him last year, I didn't even think he played then, but they weren't patting him on the back last year. I know that.
Yeah.
And but he can make all the throws. He's mobile. He can make all the throws. He can get rid of the ball quickly. He's a left-hander, which is a little bit different on how the ball is coming out. And a lot of their success is kind of based on what, if you look, teams having success, normally quarterbacks playing pretty good. It kind of starts with that, and that's definitely the case. It will be a challenge for us this week to be able to get some pressure. Our defensive line did some good things yesterday. Getting Mike Dwarmford back in there. Malik Collins is healthy now. Jerry Hughes plays the normal way. And Obo, of course, did an outstanding job. So we'll need to be on top of our game this week.
What about Obo? Because he got into the starting lineup yesterday. What has he shown you in practice and games to earn that spot and make those plays?
He's waited patiently for his opportunity, starting with that. But what he's shown us, no one, when you have Jerry Hughes as your example at the position, playing hard every down, everything you have, empty the tank, and then feel it go to the sideline, fill it back up, and come right back out. But then he's rushed the quarterback well. He's played the run well, just done everything, making plays. Yesterday was his first start, and the way he played yesterday, if we can just continue to get that type of play from that position, we're going to be in pretty good shape.
Coach, when I think about what team's going through right now, you've said it, record's not where you want it to be. We've talked about the rookies a lot, about what you want to see from them. But what do you expect from the veterans in situations like this? They've been around. They've maybe seen, Obo, played a Super Bowl champion. Other veterans have played on teams that have not done so well. And there's obviously veterans all the way in between. What's your expectation as the head coach of what you want from your veterans?
Well, I think if you're a veteran, the odds are you've been through a situation like this where there's been disappointment through the course of the season. And being a pro is coming to work every day. And again, your record, we talk about winning. It's not necessarily just, a lot of people win the day.
Yeah.
We talk about winning the play.
Right.
So that's what you're coming in to do. You're coming in to do your job as well as you can each play. And that's what we see from first step to getting better is to show up on time, ready to go. All of our guys are showing up, and I know they're going to be eager to play an outstanding Miami team and try to clean up. It's all each week you're trying to clean up some things that you didn't do as well the previous week.
Tyreek Hill, Coach, can you discuss him a little bit? Because he's just so different as a receiver. It almost seems like he gets so deep, and then he's playing center field all of a sudden. Like you can throw the ball anywhere. It just looks like that to lay people sometimes. But what makes him special?
Well, I think first off, when you talk about there is speed. He's faster than just about everybody. What's his nickname again?
The cheetah.
There's a reason why. They're not calling him Turtle or something like that.
Yeah.
He can run. He can run. It's what he can do. And he can run faster than most of the people he's playing against. So your defensive back, he's faster than you. He's running straight ahead, and you're having a backpedal. That's tough duty. So we got to find ways to try to slow him down a little bit and try to, as a general rule, you try to, eliminate the biggest target first and try to at least control that a little bit. And I think they're more potent when they're passing the football. But we can't let them become a balanced offense and be able to run and pass.
Coach, going on the road is, everybody loves playing at Energy Stadium. There's no doubt. We love playing at home. But going on the road, especially, I won't say backs against the wall, but when you feel like there's, a lot said after yesterday's game and we're not winning the way that we want to, going on the road, it's just the team, staff, everybody together. Is that sort of, in some way, maybe this is the right time to go on the road to kind of get everybody galvanized, we're all together in one, and go out there and take on Miami?
Well, yeah, that's definitely the case. And as much as anything, we need to play a game. And if we have to play a game, we've had a little success going on the road, right?
Yep.
Our only win has been on the road. Another thing that we have, going to Florida on the road.
Yeah,
we like that too.
So,
that's true.
Hopefully that'll bring us a little bit of luck. Last year was a tough game as we played them down there. They've definitely improved their ball club. But what an opportunity, again, after you play maybe, some of your worst ball to come back and play some of your best ball.
It's a big traveling Texans game, Coach, because it's South Florida and long weekend for a lot of people. What's it like when you see some of those battle red wearing Texans fans when you're on the road, you're on the field or whatever, and you look up in the stands and there they are?
Oh, it's a good feeling. It's like, going to see relatives that you haven't seen in a while, and you're excited to see them. And I have an idea of some of our traveling Texans I know, a lot of them were at the Jacksonville game and said, hey, Coach, we'll see you when you come back down here to Miami. So we know we're going to have some people there that still believe in the process that we're going through and going to do everything they can to do their part to just cheer us on and help us get a win. Now we got to do our part.
Coach, I'm sure you know this, but then again, when you're coaching football, sometimes time just goes by. And it's Thanksgiving week.
Yes.
It's Thanksgiving week. When's the last time, and I asked this question because I was up at Sam Houston this weekend. I was calling their final game of the year. Casey Keeler, their head coach, was telling me he's going somewhere for the first time ever on Thanksgiving week because it's always been playoffs every single year that he's coached. But because of the change, they're not doing that this year. He's going on vacation. When's the last time you did something other than football on Thanksgiving?
It's been a long period of time. And what I was looking at my watch for, it's also my 43rd wedding anniversary on November 25th. I was just checking to make sure I hadn't missed anything coming up. Not there yet.
Yeah, all right. You're okay.
But no, that's what, to me, Thanksgiving, there's a lot of things, there's so much we have to be thankful for and a lot that goes along with Thanksgiving in itself. But that has always been, football has always been a part of that for me. And growing up, there were teams, Detroit has been playing on Thanksgiving in a long period of time. Yeah. Growing up, I saw the Cowboys play for a long period of time. And now just so much football during that time. It's a special weekend for football in the United States.
Well, Coach, since it's been brought up here, and Dallas does play on Thanksgiving along with Detroit. Texans were at Detroit a couple of years ago on Thanksgiving Day. You brought up Roger Staubach as a quarterback reference, and antenna went up. Was that somebody as a youth that you were admiring at the quarterback position? Was there anybody else at that position or any other positions?
That's probably putting it lightly, admire Roger Staubach growing up. I was a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan growing up and loved everything about who Roger Staubach was. And late in my years, I'll just say that, when I had been an NFL coach for a long period of time, I met him for the first time. And, you want your hero to be a certain way, and he was definitely that way. Everything you thought he would be is what he was. But, yes, I've been an admirer of his for a while.
All right, we'll have a lot to discuss when we go up to Dallas in December. That'll be nice. That will be nice to discuss about that matchup.
Along those lines, Coach, have you felt starstruck when you've met somebody? Is there anybody where you're just like, whoa, I met such and such? Because I'm sure you've met some people over the time. Yeah,
and a lot of it was when you start talking about my heroes growing up.
Yeah.
Now we get to be around a lot of people that you would know, and that's great. But, it's when a lot of times it's your childhood heroes, what you're really excited about. And I had quite a few of those, I know that's not the same organization, but just, the Tyler Rose, Earl Campbell, for the Houston Oilers. There's just so many of the Houston Oilers growing up with that were fans of mine, that I was a fan of course.
All right. Well, since we're still on the Thanksgiving sort of topic here, Coach, you have to put a Thanksgiving dish on waivers. You have to cut something from your plate. I don't need this. I don't want this. And then you have to announce an MVP of the plate. What is it?
On waivers, I would say mashed potatoes.
Really?
Yeah. MVP, to me, there's just no such thing as a Thanksgiving meal without dressing.
Okay.
And I'm
stuffing
saying turkey,
for the Northerners, by the way.
Yes. Stuffing. Yes. You're right. I need to put it for the Northerners.
Yeah.
It's that. I mean, it would be hard to have a Thanksgiving meal without stuffing and gravy and some form of meat, whether either chicken or turkey with it.
Yeah. A lot of people say cranberry, like me.
Well, it all goes together, and there's no such thing as dressing without cranberry sauce. Either homemade or out of the can is good.
Okay, I know I shouldn't ask this because I know you work out. Is there a dessert, a definite go-to dessert for Thanksgiving?
Absolutely, pecan pie.
Okay,
yeah.
All right.
And he says it properly, of course, Texans. You know it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I've got a few more football questions here, Coach. All right, so we talk about pressure up the middle, and you've been playing all these outstanding defensive fronts. How hard is it to work on that stuff in practice? Because you see them on Sunday, and during practice, trying to simulate what they might do. Yeah. How difficult is that to improve the technique or whatever needs to happen in the middle, no matter who's playing?
Well, I think it's difficult to get exactly what you're going to get from some of the guys that we played lately. But technique, though, you can practice technique. Mm-hmm. A lot of it is about just the football position that you're in, a bent knee football position, hand placement on a lot of it, first steps. There's so many things that you can do. It's no different than, a good boxer. They're not just blowing, they spar.
Right.
You can spar and get in position, and game day you got to be able to let it go.
Coach, along those lines, when you have rookies, and obviously Kenny's a rookie, Sting, Petrie, they're all different rookies, and they come from different college programs. So they're all taught different techniques in the way that fits for that particular school and that particular program. How difficult can it be for a coaching staff to try and get rookies to break those habits that you need to have them? They're in a different scheme. They're in a different position. How tough is it to kind of try and break those habits and get them to work on those techniques that you feel are the right ones for them to use?
Well, good question, John. Well, it can be hard, but that process started a long time ago. And but some of the basic fundamentals, though, that's, most people teach tackling a certain way, throwing the ball a certain way. I don't think from team to team you're that far off with how you're going to do it. But how you play the game is different.
Right.
What we do offensively, defensively, a little bit that way, different fronts. And I'm talking now leaning more towards defense. The emphasis on even linemen, what type of guys, are you a team that's, head in the crack playing on the edge, or a team that's head up? There's a lot of things that's different like that. But I think most of those things by now you kind of moved on from a little bit.
Coach, I want to put a player in the spotlight here for a moment because we have Troy Hairston on the Players Show and spoke to him a little bit. He talked about being a defensive player in college and a good one and making the switch. And he said you walked up to him one day and said, "Are you ready?" And he was still wearing the defensive jersey and spent time on offense in a defensive jersey. But what the heck? It was time to do it. Can you discuss that with us?
Yeah, I think what you're looking for is that, all right, first off, no matter what position, you're trying to get as many good athletes as possible on your team. And then body type can kind of tell you what they need to play. Troy was a unique athlete because you're right, he was a, defensive lineman, linebacker, whatever you want to call it. But we saw him as a 230-pound, 40-pound athlete that was tough. And if you can tackle and do all those things, you should be able to play fullback. Mm-hmm. And the fullback position on what we would like for it to do. And I'm talking about being a core special teams player. And I just had an idea that he would be a guy that would like to be a lead blocker taking on linebackers. Mm-hmm. And it's worked that way. If you see his work ethic, too, and he's such a football junkie. That's one of the things we're really excited about that has happened, is being able to get him in his rightful position, and it's great to see him grow.
All right, so you were talking about sparring a moment ago. You know what he listens to before games? Mike Tyson motivational stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Which I found interesting. Now I got to hear some of this Mike Tyson stuff.
Well, you can only get Mike Tyson so far, though, because there's Mike Tyson going over the line. So you got to take it up to the line and realize that you're there. Coach, talking about Troy, was a defensive player, played offense. Have you ever had a player that you've entertained the thought of playing both ways? I know you had a linebacker that used to be a really good offenhet player.
Well, you also had a return man who could do a lot of things.
Did you ever anybody play both ways or entertain the thought of having somebody play both ways?
Not an awful. I know there's been players that have been able to do it. Quite a few that thought they could. Quite a few.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I am going to say that Hester started at wide receiver, started as a returner, and he started at cornerback for us. So he's the last one that was actually able to pull that off. But that's hard to do.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Tremont thinks he can do it, right?
Tremont, if you just look at guys that are capable on our football team, yeah. And a lot of times you look to guys that like the returners.
Yeah.
If you look to, Dez King and Tremont are both comfortable with the ball in their hands and they're defensive players. You start with players like that.
Outstanding. Coach, thanks a lot for joining us. Best of luck.
Anytime at all.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to know when we post new content.